All right.
Das ist er. Das war dann نمشي هاد البعيد.
It's all right. I'll go somewhere. Hey, man. What do you want?
Our body, and that's blood. Many sayings such as, it doesn't matter what color you are, we all bleed red. It doesn't matter what religion you are, you all bleed red. Yes, there are people out there that are so brainwashed that they can't even see what's in front of them. Do not frustrate, my brothers and sisters. Do not be frustrated. You did nothing wrong. You were lied to. You were manipulated and led to believe that if you do what you are told, you'll be rewarded, only to find out you are no different than us. And the truth is, you never have been any different to us. You never have at all. They made you believe that you would be different to us. Now the truth is out, you are no different. We are still the same, whether you're black or white or orange or pink or blue. You're still the same. Whether men like men or men like girls or girls like women and girls like girls, we're still the same. Nothing divides us. We still bleed red. And it's all coming to light. Only when you are plummeted into darkness do you yearn for light. And only then do you appreciate it once you come out into the light. I told you before and I'll tell you again, only God himself can take away Australia from me and you. Only him. No politician, no police force, no governing body can take away your right to live, to breathe, 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 breathe.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Good Smoke, and what's going on? I haven't been on the air for a long time. But, you know, if I was going to bring anybody on the air, it's going to be the one and only Mr. Georges himself. What's up, Romeo?
Hey, Eddie, how are you, mate? Not much.
Good, man. Good. Can you hear me, bro? Am I clear? Am I all going good?
Oh, mate, you're as clear as the sun.
Clear as these rules as well, eh? How you been, man? How's the family? How's everything doing?
Yeah, everything's going really, really well. You know, trying to stay positive. You know, believing that in the end we'll win. And you know, I stuck true to what I thought and what I believed, and it's all coming out now. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
100%. And like before all this blew up, before the COVID came along, we had you on the show before, man. And yeah. I think it started when What's his name? Your best mate Scott Morrison went to Hawaii, and he and he left the firefighters, and we're fighting back then for the farmers as well back then as well, and even
Oh,
that hasn't been solved out either. So you've come a long way, because that was like this end of December, I think, or end of 2019 that you came in the show, and then I think Trump got in, and then bang, we all went to mess. So yeah, like, what do you think about that?
mate, look, my discovery of the corrupt government started with the farmers, and that led me down the road through the bushfire that happened when they tried to blame global warming. And it's just really opened up my eyes to the sheer and utter corruption of the government, the lies. Scott Morrison took off to Hawaii in the middle of one of probably Australia's worst bushfire seasons because he needed a break.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't ask his boss he couldn't postpone his holiday, because he had already booked it in.
And
Yeah,
he also
standing
he
is
couldn't
out.
hold the hose either.
Pardon?
He couldn't hold the hose, he said, either.
He can't hold a lot of things, to be quite honest. I'd be surprised if he can hold up a schooner in a pub.
I think he can hold the schooner at the Cronulla game, though. He's all right with that.
Cup, mate. It's a plastic cup. Plastic.
Yeah, true. Even then, you probably stuff it up. Yeah, I understand. But okay, so let's go back to when you were at the radio station. Let's get an update on. I know there's like a lot going on at the moment, and you speak about it a lot. But let's go like trace back, because we've got a connection back there. What has happened with the farmers? What's going on with them, and also the bushfires? Is there an update? Is there any progress with that, or has that fallen off?
Nothing. Farmers still never got their water. It was all lies. If it wasn't for the generosity of the Australian people, one particular person, Anita Donlan, with all the hard work that she's been doing.
Shout out to Anita.
Yeah, God bless her. She's just wonderful. Love Anita so much. True warrior, country girl. You can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl. And that's what Anita is about. But no, we've still got a big problem with the water issue. They kept going on about, at the time that they didn't have 150 million to give to the farmers just to help them out through this time. But they came out and said, we really can't help the fire affected communities. So that was a big contribution from the lovely people of Australia and their big hearts to help out the fire affected community. Again, the government failed there. Even they tried to take the money that comedians and people on social media network tried to raise for the rural affected communities, the fire affected communities in the rural communities. And they tried to take that away from them, the money that was raised. And actually nothing has really happened. It's just, they've just used COVID now as, that's all they talk about. That's all they're worried about. They're not worried about the amount of farmers that have committed suicide. They're not worried about how many teenagers have committed suicide. It's just now they're worried about get the vaccine and your world will be perfect. It's just sheer and utter lies. And what hurts me the most, Eddie, is the amount of people that actually believe, after seeing with their own eyes the corruption of the government, how they quickly believe now that the government loves them.
Yeah, that's exactly one thing that I'm shocked about. Before we get into that, but you talked about suicide, and I looked at a post that was done by the Sunday Morning Herald, and they said 1 in 5 people either know or have know somebody in their family or for a distant friend that has committed suicide during this time, and a lot of them happen around where I live as well. Like and he hasn't even been that hard, and there's been a lot of suicides that have happened here. Do you know anybody that has gone through something like that, or that's thinking about doing it? And if you have, what have you done and said to them to stick in there, hang on to their horses?
One particular person, I get a lot of these letters.
I try to keep them to myself, but I think these letters that I get is the true driving force behind what I'm doing. Just a letter that says, I thought about ending it all, and thank you for the humor. Thank you for the laughs. Thank you for just giving me hope. And that's been the real reason why I've continued to do what I've been doing. But but the only thing that I say to them is, you were created for a reason. You weren't a mistake. There are bigger and better things that are going to happen to you in your life, and it would be such a shame that you believe that you're not worth holding on till tomorrow. You know, and I'm great, and I'm happy that it's worked. All these people are still here, but I have not heard, but I have received information where 16, 15, 14, even 13-year-olds have ended it because it's just been so hard on them. But, hey, it's hard when we lose a 90-year-old in a nursing home.
Yeah, I understand. Someone that's lived their life a long time, that's been through a lot of things, and then you got kids that can't handle this time. But like, I see something that I've seen through you, because I want to really address the youth as well, because that a lot of people are ignoring what's happening, just waiting for it to blow over. A lot of people are fighting. A lot of people are fighting each other. With you, because you seem to know the law, you seem to know what's going on behind the scenes with politics and all that. And knowing all that things, it gives you confidence, and also with your faith. How do you supposed to educate a generation that's gone through schooling that hasn't taught anything of this, or even have the taste to even want to know anything about this? How do you teach them politics? Sometimes it's boring, if anything, most of the time it's boring. So I see that it's been overtaken. We've been overtaken so quickly because this generation doesn't understand what's happening. How do you supposed to fix that up?
When it comes to me, is look, I'm not any more special than anybody else, but with me, I've always been a curious bugger. I've always wanted to find out what makes something work. As a kid, I used to break a toy to find out how it works, and it's the same with politics. That's how I got to understand how it all works. Because maybe 3 years ago, I really didn't care about the way politics works. I thought they were all a bunch of pompous ass, fat ass bastards, and I just didn't really care what they did. But I looked into it and I got educated. But the way I've been approaching politics is this: you don't need to understand politics. You don't. What you need to understand, especially with the young, is, do you understand what your freedom's about? Do you understand where your freedom comes from? Do you understand how many people have died for you to be able to do what you want and be able to live in a free society? And that's the angle that I've taken, and I find that it works, because communicating to a 13-year-old, for example, I said, okay, right now they're telling you that, you take your vaccine and you can go back to playing outside. But if you don't take the vaccine, you can't go play outside. Now, how do you feel when your mum and dad tell you that? And, most answers are, I'm pretty upset. I said, well, how would you feel that for the rest of your life you're going to be constantly under that type of situation, where now at the age of 13 they're telling you if you don't take the vaccine you can't go outside and play on your bike? But what about when you're 18 and 19 and get a motorbike license and tell you if you don't take the vaccine or renew the vaccine, take another one, a booster jab, you can't ride your motorbike, or you can't go see this person? And straight away they're sort of, their eyes and eyebrows lift up. It's like, what? I said, yeah, well, basically it's it. That's what I'm telling you will happen. Do you want that to happen? No. Then you must stand up and say, I'm against being told what to do. I'm against having my freedom taken away from me. So
because you got that taste of from your father, like he's been through a war, and with ethnic families, especially Lebanese families, are so fresh, and war still goes on today, and we're always reminded about you know, we don't want to go back there. We don't want to go back to that situation, or we don't even want that to happen to this country. And you gave the example about a mum disciplining her child, and the consequences of doing something to your mum is not as big as going against the politics. You know what I mean? You can go to jail for that. And there's a lot of children that have that backbone to, you know what, I'm going to fight for this, and they just wait for it to blow over. It's going to blow over like any other event.
Because
Like,
it's the parents.
that's what I mean. How do you like? There's you know, fathers in the homes are getting less. Mothers can't be at home because they're working all the time, and they have to, you know, give it to other family members. And there's all different types of ideas given to them when they're little. How do you bridge that? Like, I know with your children, you've done it, and I see them the way they talk to me. I message them here on Instagram and that the way they are. They're beautiful children. Like, how do you do that in a communal wise?
See what's going on right now. Educate the children to see the injustice that what's happening, such as the inner west and outer west are locked down, but Bondi, Cronulla, and so forth are open. Children pick up on a lot of things. It's quite easy. It's, as they say, the younger you are, the easier it is for you to learn. And we need to be on the front foot, both as parents, as guardians, to make sure that our children are not being brainwashed by a demonic media and evil politicians. They need to see what's going on. And thank God for social media. You know, thank God for social media, because so much of our young are on social media that basically it's very horrible to say, but social media have become the mum and dad to children.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, because you can only spend so much time with your children. Like, they're in their room most of the time on their phone.
Yeah.
Well, not even children. Like, it's everybody now. It's adults even too. Like, it doesn't matter who. It doesn't discriminate. So it's just like, and plus on the other end, from the social media end, there's a lot of like things getting blocked and censored off there. The things that you want to teach as well, like, you know, having a family or being in the community, helping the community. You know, like, and you can't tell your kids what to do when they over 18, they say, and you know, like, there's so much bombarding them from either end. It's just I feel like, and then again, you also now, a lot of your posts, you talk about the churches and not only the churches, but just religious places where they are in the past were influences of society, have now been corrupted. And not now, they've always been corrupted, especially like with the Catholic Church, with a lot of things happening there as well. What is it that what is it like, do you think you can like glue all this back together? It's like glass, you know, it's all little shattered to little pieces.
I don't think I need to glue it back together. I'm kind of happy that it's been destroyed.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to fix it, because fixing it means it goes back to the way it was. The filth, the corruption, the greed has been exposed. It's a pot that's fallen on the floor, and all the dirt, you know, is everywhere now, all over the floor. It's broken. You fix that pot, it's never going to be as strong as it once was. So just chuck it out. So
clean it up. Yeah.
You know, and that's why I'm doing with the United Australia Party. We're bringing in a new type of political force, a new way of thinking, fresh blood. I wouldn't want to. The church has been broken for a very, very long time. Not the actual church.
Yeah, not the people.
Islam,
yeah.
You know, Islam has been broken for a very, very long time. Judaism has been broken for a very, very long time. And all COVID-19 did is expose how fractured and broken it is. All three religions are run by money. And I'm sure that if Abraham came back and the prophet came back and Jesus Christ himself came back, they would tear down the very fabric of each one of these religions, because they've all gone away from the true meaning of this religion. Judaism was the original people of God. You know, the chosen people of God. They got their chance when Moses went to the mountain.
Missed
out. You know, they came back, they started praying to a golden calf. The Prophet Muhammad during his 11-year reign before he passed away. And there was no such thing as different types of Islam. It was a united front, people all dedicated to the worship of God. Jesus Christ had no church. Jesus Christ himself entered the synagogue and tore it apart. Everybody says that Jesus is about love and peace, and Jesus is not a violent person. I beg to differ. When violence is needed, one must use it. Jesus Christ destroyed the temple because it was a marketplace, not a house of his Father. And now the church is the same. Money should never enter church. The passing round of the tray, I believe, for a very, very long time has been an absolute insult to Jesus Christ himself. If you want money, give it outside the church, not inside the church. That is a place of reflection, dedication, and prayer to God. Because I'll explain to you this way. When that tray comes round, for that split second that tray comes round, you are not in prayer. You are deciding how much money to put into that tray. You're supposed to be dedicating 1 hour to total and utter dedication to God. But twice the tray comes around during Mass, and it probably takes about 10 minutes to go through the church. So I believe that from the first person spends a second thinking about how much money to put in that tray, and the very last person has spent 10 minutes thinking about how much money do I put in that tray today. So he's only really dedicated 50 minutes because he's lost 10 minutes inside the house of God deciding how much money to put in. 10 minutes worshipping the devil.
Yeah, I always thought weird about that, man, about asking people for money when you know you're coming to a place like that. And and if we're all reading from the same book, it tells you not to show one hand, let your right and your left know like what's given to, like your donations and stuff. I butchered the verse, but I'm saying that don't let your right hand let you know your right hand, let you know your left hand what they're donating to people, So it's like when there's corruption or like it always was a problem even in the past when church and state came together, and in these type of societies we're trying to separate that so church and state doesn't come together. But it seems like maybe in the front on the news it doesn't look like that, but for sure in the background the government and the church and all the religious leaders are somehow in cahoots with each other somehow. Like
Jesus Christ said, give to Caesar what is owed to Caesar.
Amen.
Give to God what is owed to God. He separated money from faith. Can you tell me now across all religions that money has nothing to do with faith? No, it's all intertwined. How come I can't go pray in church, but I can go stand there and get jabbed?
Okay, let's talk about that. Because I'll give you another example. If you guys want to look it up on YouTube, look up the statue of Jesus and vaccination, because on there they projected a big light and it said vaccination save, and a big part of, or the only part of our faith is that Jesus saves. So it's like a mockery or blasphemy over what our faith is trying to say.
The only time the devil wins is when he enters your mind. And to every single person that believes the vaccine saves, you're being commanded by the devil. That's as simple as that, especially Christians.
100%. And then
out of your way to insult Jesus Christ himself.
Yeah.
Lepers weren't treated as bad as we are being treated right now. Lepers.
Yeah, there was leper communities even, and they were allowed to be with it, and we're not allowed. Yeah.
Okay.
People needed to go to them. Yeah.
Lepers, if they entered a area, they had rules that they had to follow. As long as they followed those rules, nobody touched them, nobody said anything to them. They had their own communities. But now we are being told to abuse, insult, intimidate, bully anybody that hasn't taken the vaccine.
Yeah, if they're not told that it's implied somehow one way or another, whether it be for people, because people that advocate for the government as well are advocating that unvaccinated shouldn't be in certain places. They can't go here. They can't see these certain things.
No, I'm just pissed off with the mentality of the Australians who think it's their God-given right to abuse somebody.
That's right.
No, it's not. I mean, I'd love for somebody to actually have somebody else charged by police for abuse. We'll see how long these fucking scumbuckets will continue to dob on people and tell people off. I had one lady the other day, I was walking through the park. She was working with her son. Her son must have been, I don't know, 22, 23, 24, something like that. And I had my mask just below my nose. And she said, he's the reason why the virus is spreading. So I looked at her, I said, no, you're the reason because you're a fucking imbecile for believing this. And her pussy ass little, little pansy, I pat my dick with a tissue, son, just kept walking. Somebody ever talked like that to my mother? I put my fist down his throat. But this is what it is. I just abused your mum, you dickhead. And you just walked off.
And that's the attitude. Yeah, that's the attitude.
Were you going to sit down on the toilet bowl, take a piss, and then tap your penis with tissue?
Oh man, that happened to my mom as well. She was going for a walk with a dog because you're allowed to go for a walk, and whatever. Anyway, and she saw an old school friend like that went to school with us, and she went up, hey, how you doing? Gave her a big hug. Literally in like 2 seconds, the neighbor next door goes, you guys aren't allowed to hug. You guys aren't allowed to do that. My mom just goes, oh, whatever, and just walked away because she just didn't want to bother with it anymore. Because what I noticed through this time is that, especially
your mum said to her, hey, darling, have you ever hugged a baseball bat?
No, my mum's had plenty of interaction, but this only happened like 2 days ago. She's over it now. It's dumb. Like there's one proverb that says in the Bible, goes, if you argue with fools, you become a fool. And my mom's just over just arguing with fools, She just trying to explain her side, trying to it's like you're trying to beg and grovel for like Oliver, like more you want, like you can't just be free to say what you want to say. You know what I mean? So then, and then you got these people that the goody goodies, like what we're talking about, the goody goodies that actually are giving more power to the government to do what they got to do, because they only need a certain amount to get backing. They don't need the whole country behind them. So if they got a little bit of people behind them, they can easily do what they're doing to us.
But seriously, man, every single person that comments about me not following the government or that, I look their profiles up. They are fucking weird.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And not like mentally weird. They're just they're just different, alien type weird. Like you've never seen them before. Like,
mate, what is it with people that want to put their profiles are dogs, and they're ugly dogs too. It's like, and they like, seriously. One lady goes to me, "Who do you think you are? You should." There's some comment. Why don't you follow the government? They're looking out for us. I looked at her. Her dog was prettier than she was.
There's Bill Burr, the comedian. He said, he goes, whatever they're doing to dogs, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it to humans in 10 years' time, and it's true. They're gonna cut their balls off, and so they can't procreate, and they just vaccine the hell out of them, like because they want to make money off them, and that's become a big business too with insurance and trying to take care of your pet, and what they do to pets have done to us.
Testicle removal business, mobile. As long as you've got a mask on, doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's go to the divide. Like, I'm in southeast area, so I'm in the middle of like seeing the east side people and the south side people. So I see two different type of groups, and how they act. I haven't been into Bondi for a long time, so I don't know firsthand. But from my perspective, what I saw at Bondi, it is a big dog act. But I also see it another perspective that was a real protest. I feel like that is a protest that is telling the government F yous, like we're not going to listen. What's your perspective? How did you see it from where you're living?
They just expose the racism that's within the government. They expose the true agenda of the government.
Mm-hmm. Let's
get the West, because it's mostly all immigrants. We're the first and second generation. These people are not used to bowing to governments. If we get them to bow, the rest of the state will bow. They never got us to bow. We didn't bow. In fact, we stood up. We stood up. You know, we said, "Who the fuck do you think you are? Did you give me any money so I can, when I, to start to build my house or start my business? I made myself. Since when are you coming to think you're going to tell me what to do?" And they pushed the propaganda with people getting arrested. Who was getting arrested? I like that word, arrested. Getting arrested means arrested, going into being locked up, then facing court, and then going to jail if you're found guilty. Getting arrested is not being picked up by a paddy wagon, being driven to the local police station, and then told, "Go home." That's just being removed from the area. But no, let's call it getting arrested. Like Rohan Teko, man, we saw it. We can see it. This is just sheer and utter racism. You want to attack basically the immigrants because you're trying to work a strategy. They know the strong, and we are the strong. We are.
You know what else I noticed? I think also, like, when the TV implies, when they say the West, right? In normal human circles, like on the street everyday people, everyone knows who they're talking about. They're not talking about Asian people. They're not talking about islanders. They're talking about Lebanese people, Middle Eastern Lebanese people, and everyone equates Western suburbs to that. And they know that, and they just said, "Oh, they sent the army in as well," and then they disguise it as they helping the police. So you got to, like, it doesn't any question marks come up in anyone's head. Like, even us when we're here, there's a big Lebanese community here in the southeast here, right, in Coogee areas and stuff like that, and they see it too. They just like, nah, this is not right. Like, how do they become so brazen and just so staunch about it and just do it?
Because how can I be polite about it?
You don't have to be polite. This is good smoke. Smoke goes everywhere. It can't be captured.
Basically, the Lebos in the West said, "Ala aire." You can bring the freaking special forces in. You can bombard us. We got bunkers underneath our house. We'll have barbecues under the house. We'll run tunnels from neighbor to neighbor. Ala aire. That's what it is.
Yeah.
They don't understand the geography or the geochemistry of our society all across Sydney, not just the West. They come out with these, 300 personnel from the army. What are they going to do? Come and wave? Hello.
Okay, then what there are, but in the Lebanese community also, we've got a lot of goodies too that are saying that there's dumb bimbo lebo guys that what they call it, like Abdul the plumber. You're gonna listen to him, and you're not gonna listen to some guy overseas in a big company trying to sell you a vaccine. So there is also within the community a divide, and people telling each other off and saying, "You're an idiot. You're just a dumb lebo, whatever you thinking."
Off the lebos that take the vaccine and come out and advocate it. Yeah, because they're as dumb as dog shit. Straight up, not because they took the vaccine.
No, not at all.
It's because they're advocating the push to remove your right. What's it to you, man? Suck your buzak. Because suck tak
why does it? Why is that? Like, why do they feel like they have to tell you?
Well, they get on Facebook and give me double jab. I hate it if you've been double jabbed. You get jabbed every single day. Some of these chicks get on and start abusing people that are against. We're not against the jab.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
We're against being forced to do something against our will.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. They don't understand the difference. Yeah, they don't understand that difference where you're saying that you think you're hating on people that are vaccinated. People will have a choice. Like, that's the beauty of this country, that you have a choice to do what you want to do.
I've never hated anyone that has taken the jab. I'm fighting even harder for their rights. But it's funny. It's the actual now the people that have taken the jab are the ones that are realizing, fuck, I've been had. Where's my freedom? Where's everything that's been promised to me? What's the difference between, oh, you can go to a pub because you're vaccinated and the unvaccinated can go to the pub in 3 weeks' time? What the fuck is, man, I don't go to the pub anyway.
But yeah, that's what I understand. 3 weeks time, like, wouldn't you just hold out if you feel like you're forced? Wouldn't you just hold out?
The vaccinated people have been had. That's the truth. If it upsets them, not my problem. You've been lied to. You've been sucked in, and you've given up your freedom so willingly. You've given it up. I take away your freedom in order for you to get this jab to give you back your freedom. How about you don't take my freedom in the first place, eh? How about I stand up to you and say, nah, this is not happening. You ain't taking it in the first place to then put a condition for you to give it back to me. Definition of stupid.
Romeo, do you see? I don't buy that lie about that they've taken our freedom. Do you think they really taken our freedom? Like, I think it's just
the imbeciles believe. Nothing's changed with me. I go where I want. I do.
Yeah,
what I want.
I don't think they've taken our freedom. They've said they've taken it, but you can't tell. Have they really taken your freedom?
To me, no.
No, but I mean, in like you're saying, they've locked us down, but it's all mandated. It's not law. Do we not have the balls to go, you know what, fuck this, and do what we want to do?
Eddie, going to a restaurant is not taking away. Sorry, not going to a restaurant is not taking away your freedom. Not going to the cinemas is not taking away your freedom. Not going to the, I don't know, not when they tell you you cannot leave the front door of your house, that's when you can say they've taken away my freedom. To me, they took nothing away from me. One, I get Uber Eats, I get the restaurant that I love, I get it sent to my house, and we're in the backyard. Okay? I go up and down, I go for my walks. I go and visit, I'll go past my mate's house, pip the horn, stand outside, have a quick chat, and then come back. Right? I'm being honest with you. Nothing's changed for me. If it gets me into trouble, come prove it, motherfuckers. Come prove it.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, there's a still like because you know what's going on. But you know, everyday people that are trying to make like work out of this and whatever. There's always this black cloud, like a black cloud every time you walk out the house. You're not sure if you're gonna.
Eddie, every single person that has said enough's enough, and I'm gonna find out exactly what's happening, and gone to work has quickly realized it's a fucking hoax. It's
the lockdowns. You're saying the lockdowns are a hoax. Are you saying the lockdowns?
It's all a hoax. I got plumbers, electricians, carpenters going from Cabramatta all the way freaking down to over to North Sydney, and they're going to me, "We're working. What's this?" Right? I took a drive the other day, and what I wanted to see where the checkpoints were. Where are they? And I left my LGA and went a little bit further, and a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further. Where the fuck are you? Where are these things? I never left my car. I just drove, you know, to see where am I going to be pulled over? Where are these checkpoints? The truth is they're nowhere. They pop them up on the Hume Highway up that way to give you a bit of a scare, and then they disappear. The truth is the police are against this. The police hate it. I've been told by police officers that when they're being abused by people, they're actually in their mind saying to themselves, "Why are you yelling at me? I'm with you."
But no cop has. I haven't personally seen any cops come out and say anything.
Well,
have you?
I've been told by reliable people that a lot of the cops are new and they're scared. They're against it, but they can't say anything. But in the next couple of days, you'll be seeing, you know, a change. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Things are happening, and you know, I can't say too much, but
yeah.
I mean, you can feel it, right? You can feel it. Gladys now is more concerned about getting, you know, ICAC being jammed up her butthole.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What is ICAC and what is that all about? Because we know there's an investigation going on with her, but She's been dodging a lot of questions and referring back to some same old answer. Do you know much about it?
Or something along those lines. Basically, mate, she is so freaking corrupt. It's not funny.
Big time.
Like
Yeah.
right now, rumors are going around, and Clive Palmer actually has evidence that he can prove that Gladys Berejiklian is continuing the push for vaccines because there are people in the Liberal Party that basically said to her, if you push the vaccine, we will make ICAC go away. And yeah, right.
Who's
ICAC ain't
telling her
going
that? Who's telling her that?
political like people in the parliament.
In the parliament telling her.
Yeah,
Because I know that the Queensland health minister, her husband is on the board for Pfizer, and she's been.
they're all man. I think I was sent an article that states that Brett Sutton and his brother are on the board of a company that digs up grenadine, some chemical that's used that's sold off to be broken down and used in the vaccine by Pfizer and AstraZeneca.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers are making tens of millions of dollars.
Heaps, exactly. And that's why you don't hear much of them. Like they never like get into the depths of our economy breaking down, and the dollar seems fine. Like nothing seems to be going plummeting like as they should in this
The
big.
only things that are breaking down and closing up are our middle class businesses, our small to medium sized businesses. The big boys are making more. Have you seen McDonald's, the line in McDonald's?
Yeah.
But our gyms are closed.
And that's what I'm to understand. Isn't it for our health? Like it doesn't make sense for our health, but you can buy ciggies, you can go to a brothel, you can drink a bottle of whiskey with a mask on, but you have to have a mask on, and then from there you're fine. Like you're within the rules.
Yeah, Dr. Chant looks like she's half dead and just came out of the office, and she's advising about our health. She should just say, if you don't want to look like me, you need to take the vaccine. Then I take it.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like it doesn't make sense. There's so many things. If they really care about our health, like there's so many things that are bad for our health, and we get to choose them or not. How come I'm not allowed to choose this? Why am I not have the choice of this, but I'm allowed to choose a Big Mac or not?
Man, I think I saw her once walking down the street trying to find a secondhand butt on the ground so she can light it up.
Nah, she's a bit like she's a bit weird, but that's another thing. I think she's been bullied because she grew up in Punch Bowl. She grew up in Punch Bowl, right? And I think she came in the time when the immigration was happening, and there was a lot of Lebanese happening, and I think she got bullied. And now this is her payback. It's revenge to the nerds, man. 100%.
She was a lot more than just bullied, bro.
Have you ever heard about her before this, or now that you have heard about it, does anyone in the community know about her?
No, I think one bloke told me he used to see her in the car park at the back of Arthur Street.
What's Arthur Street?
The street in Punch Bowl.
Yeah, but it has a reputation or something?
Yeah, just car park. Yeah, the car
park. Oh man. Okay, Clive Palmer and the United Australian Party. Apparently, was it 2 members of the Australian United Party became prime ministers in the history? Is that right?
Menzies is the original guy.
Okay, yeah.
The original Liberal Party was called the United Party, the United Australia Party.
Okay. To make it clear to everyone, I'm not advocating for this, and I'm not advocating for this. I'm just purely trying to find out because I don't know much. I've been doing a little bit of research, and since you've been like standing up for them, I want to know a bit about them, and yeah, let's see who are they and what are they trying to do.
Okay, the United Australia Party is trying to get us back to the original constitution.
Yeah.
Okay. Clive Palmer originally started the party, but after Craig Kelly defected and became a independent, he left the Liberals and became independent. He said to me, I could have plodded along, won my next election and stayed as independent. He goes, but what I've been seeing is wrong.
Mm.
So he came up with this idea about starting a new political party.
Mm-hmm.
So me and him sat down and we were discussing, and he was telling me what he was thinking. And I said to him, well, okay, let's get the infrastructure started for a new political party.
This is Craig, yeah?
Yeah, this is Craig Kelly.
Yeah.
So there was a few other people involved, present at the time. And, he must have gone away and thought about it and came back and he said to me, look, you know what? Clive Palmer's reached out to me. He wants me to be the leader of the United Australia Party.
Mm.
I said, yep, but, Clive, he tried before and, I've never really spoken about it, but I'll speak about it. He said, I've tried before and he's tried before and wasn't successful and all that. He said, look, Clive doesn't want to be in charge of this party anymore. And Romeo, for us to build an infrastructure, it's going to take us years and we don't have time.
Mm.
So Craig Kelly negotiated with Clive. Clive's a very, very big backer of the party. He's the one funding it and all that. And they've got a very good friendship. But it is Craig Kelly that's in charge of the party. Clive is basically the finance.
Mm.
And if Clive runs with the party, which I'm sure he will, he's just going to run in a seat. But it would be Craig Kelly. It's Craig Kelly in charge of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And what we're about is, firstly, to deal with the situation that we're in right now. That's removing the mandated vaccination, removing the mandatory vaccination passport.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call it? Basically, having a look at all these policies that are really not in the best interest of Australians.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I agree, both myself and Craig agree, we want to introduce a new type of political party, a new type of politicians. Politicians who have a proven track record in their own field. I don't want no failures. I don't want anybody that's going to rock up, think he's got himself a seat, and he's going to sit in it and get his money and do jack shit. We want people who have proved themselves in their community and have a proven track record of being a selfless person, a person that thinks about others other than himself and thinks about Australia and how good it can be. And I think that's why most Australian people are really jumping on board with this, and I expect you to become a member within the next hour.
Yep.
Right, but at the end of the day, Australia has a lot of issues. Definitely, we are against the vaccination of children. 100%, children should not even be discussed at all. And we're just about trying to make Australia great again, And we've got a lot of good people involved.
Okay, so just because you just said make Australia great again, a lot of people are going to associate that with Trump, and Trump doesn't really have the best reputation. Is there? No, I'm with you. I'm just trying to get everybody in the conversation. Do you have that same mentality as him, where you
Yes,
stronger borders and
exactly
stronger
the same mentality as Donald Trump? Yes. I'm about business deals. I'm about creating jobs. I'm about putting our economy into the black instead of the red. I'm about making Australians proud of being Australians. Yeah, what the fuck's wrong with that? What the fuck?
I want to explain it. I want you to explain it. I want you to let people know, because, this is why my next question after that was, every other political party has failed us, no matter what. They've always done something that's been against, some people agree with it, some people don't. My next question was going to be, why should I even, because you said to sign up, right?
Yeah.
I said, why should I even trust this? It's just another political party.
Because we're not. Because Romeo Georges has stuck his neck out and put his money where his mouth is for something new, something exciting. Politicians that sign up with the United Australia Party will swear an oath to the people of Australia that they will stay true, stay honest. And the second I find out that one of them has betrayed the Australian people, I'll blow the fucking thing up.
Okay, listen, promises, 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 yeah. I'm just trying to get confidence back into the government, right?
Yeah.
And you're one person that's trying to set confidence back into the government, because it's both of us know it's not to be trusted. So what about is this party going to go up against the two major parties, is it once if they don't get voted in, does their votes go to another party?
No.
So how does that work? What's the difference to it now? Is it another
we are a major party? If we got to compete for the minor parties, we want to form a coalition with the minor parties. Their votes, their preference comes to us. We're not a minor party to give our votes to Liberals or Labor.
Yeah, no, but they used to be. That's what I was trying to say. Like,
that's why I'm.
Have we changed it? Have we gone into a? Are we now our votes are now the votes are the votes. Now they keep the votes. They don't get to, play politics with it.
No. Now we go to elections, and I'm telling you, I expect nothing less than a win.
Yeah.
And a landslide at that, and we're going to win like we've never won before.
But I agree with you. I think there should be more than just three parties. Why isn't there bigger? You know what I mean? If we got so many people and we're in a free democratic society, why isn't there more parties like that?
Because money talks and bullshit walks.
So you're telling me the Liberals and Labor had the money all the time?
That's right. But now they're shitting themselves because the United Australia Party has a war chest that's bigger than theirs. So why should we be a minor party? We are a major party. We're here to wipe the ground with you two motherfuckers.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be one of the people booting them in the ass as they walk out the door. No more. No more. We'll get these minor parties to come on board with us, because it'll be easily dealing with these minor parties because their views are the same as us, but they don't have the money to be a major party.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so then no one's backed them. So yeah. So with that now, are they gonna do politics different to the other parties? Is promoting it? What's the future for them? Like, I mean, like, how with Trump, he had the big, what do you call them? The gatherings that he had for his followers. Is there a different tactic you guys are doing? How are you going to promote this? How are we going to attack it?
We're already at, I think, just under 50,000 now.
I mean, with commercials and stuff like that, and
commercials, all that, mate. And we're going to have rallies.
Yeah, rallies. That's what I'm talking about. Rallies.
I want this to be the party for the people, by the people, and make the people know that without you, we can't do shit. We can't do anything. It's you. So come down to the rallies. Let's have barbecues. Let's drink some beer, celebrate a change, something new. Instead of these old, corrupt scum buckets that have been doing the same shit day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year after year. You just stink. You're filth. You got to go. There's no more.
I like, that's one thing. And even with taxes, man, if we can fix that up as well, because I remember having 2 jobs and like working my ass off, and they used to, on the second job, they used to pump me with tax, like almost.
My attitude when it comes to this is, if you are willing to bust your ass, you deserve more of what you're busting your ass for.
Yeah.
Okay, I do believe in tax.
Yeah, 100%.
I do believe in tax, but I believe in being taxed fairly and not being taxed because you've worked harder.
Yeah, man. I used to work like 7 days a week, right? 2 jobs. And then the second job, I think they took almost 40 something% of the second job. And I was out in the nighttime working in the rain and everything. I was just like, I want to just make it a little bit ahead.
I'd be looking into along this line where if you're working 2 jobs and are making $65,000 a year, then you should be in in the tax bracket of the 65,000 a year, irrelevant if you're working 2 jobs or 10 jobs.
Yeah.
If it says 27% on 65,000 or whatever it is, you
Yeah.
stay, not 27% on your first job and then 42% on your second. Fuck that. Because your 2 jobs
Setup,
are
man.
combined.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a
no,
setup. Setup. They don't want you. That it's like a Facebook. They don't want competitors because they want to rule the market. Same again?
Australia is a society run by a government that wants you to be on the dole. They want you to, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, sir. Get
To
on the
rely
dole.
on. Yeah. Yeah.
You
To
know?
rely on. And again, there's no dissing on the doll. The doll has its place. The Centrelink
right.
has its place. You know, it's not about that. It's just about you want to encourage the ones that can work, you know, and help the ones that can't, and the ones that with disabilities, and the ones that have a hard life or they have PDS or whatever it may be.
The dole is designed to help Australia, not to get by until they can get themselves into a better position, not sit on it for year after year after year after year for 20 years. That's not what it was designed for.
Yeah. But
Okay?
also they use that as a political arm, so then they can say if we take this away from you, then I mean, if you don't vote us in, then your Centrelink's gonna leave, you know?
Well, that's a threat. They could be sued for that.
Okay, it's almost been an hour. I'll start wrapping that up soon. But let's go into quickly these lawyers. I know you can't get
lawyers, state lawyers,
even your cousin, Romeo, that you spoke to the other night. I saw as well. He's doing some things in the background. What's happening with all of that? Like, what are we expecting, and what are we fighting for in this?
Okay, the AFL lawyers going along the lines of discrimination and trying to get the government to prove exactly why they did what they did. So that's a good angle. Sage lawyers are probably doing the same kind of things. Basically, at the end of the day, if one wins, all win. If one loses, we still have another 3 because there's 4 all up.
Yeah.
And there's many more that are coming through. Many more. You've got ones against Hazard. You've got ones, you know, against the state. It's just there's so many cases. People are waking up, and lawyers are starting to get proactive. And it's end of days for Gladys Berejiklian and her Nazi SS soldiers. You know?
And I even saw him in the review that they had against that panel, and he was so like he didn't want to answer the questions, and he was trying to shortcut everything, you know.
Yeah, he's a cunt. He's an absolute
asshole, man. He's a big he's a pretentious prick. Like, honestly, when he talks to you on the TV, he talks to you like
he is he is a failed teacher, a failed lawyer, right? I can't find anything really what he's achieved in both those fields, and he's a lawyer that's in charge of the Ministry of Health in New South Wales. Shut the fuck up, you imbecile! What? If I speak to doctors that make me a doctor, the way he talks is like he's a doctor. Look, you are a piece of shit. That's what you are, right? No one likes him. I heard so many people that know this person. No one. They freaking can't. They can't stand him.
He's a prick, man. He's a honest. Excuse my French, but he is a prick. Like, honestly, like he's the type of guy. Like, oh man, I don't want to get into it, but anyway,
seriously, he's the type of person that you see him getting bashed by someone, you stand there and watch it for entertainment. You just love it.
I'll just drain in as well.
You know, he's filth.
Absolutely
filth.
Yeah. I was gonna say also, like, the whole world stopped for this COVID, right? And me and you we're immigrants of of our countries. You know, we were born here, but you know, our parents came here and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, like for 30 years, man, we've been into war. They had these peace deals, and it comes back again, and these peace deals comes back, and these against 2 countries. Say it was Israel or Syria against Lebanon, blah blah blah, whatever, and they couldn't stop 2 countries from fighting, right?
Yeah.
I just want to understand if anyone in the chats want to say, or you, Romeo, how did they stop the whole world and get every leader in cahoots with each other at one time and stop the whole world at one time? How can they stop that? And but there was no wars for 4 years with Trump, but yet as soon as he left, as soon as Trump left, then within 6 months there was trouble in the Middle East.
Okay, let's break it down this way. Every country owes money. Every country around the world is in debt. Okay? No country wants to pay back that debt. They have to, but they don't want to. So what if the most powerful financially backed institution, which is the World Bank, owned by Rockefellers and Rothschilds and Windsors, and what if they said, we will give you money that you can push this agenda, you will personally be wealthy, you will never have to pay back this money to us, but there's a condition. We form a new world order and we rule the whole world. Why not? Politicians get richer, they're set, they're loaded, they don't really care who's ruling anything because they're in their cushy little place. Then they can turn around and say to us, we can't give you any money because we're broke. The money we borrowed to save your life through COVID and vaccination, we have to pay that back. So we can't give the pensioners a pay rise. We can't, lower your electricity bill. We can't lower your water bill. We can't help you with your children. We can't pay you any money like AEST and stuff like that because we're broke. But while they're still taxing us, they're getting richer. And that's what's happened. And Lebanon is a perfect example. $40 billion was given to Lebanon. The second $40 billion ran out and the politicians took it all. There's no more COVID in Lebanon. Oh, why? Because they all got vaccinated. But in Lebanon, you had to pay for the vaccination. It wasn't free. Even the Lebanese politicians were pocketing from the vaccination. And I'm filthy with the Lebanese people that went along with it because you survived a 15-year civil war and you lined up like sheep thinking that injection is going to save your life. Yet you lived through bombs, you lived through assassination attempts, you lived through a 15-year total destruction of your country, and you came back, and now you take the needle, you live. Fucking idiots.
Yeah, that's what I especially overseas, like, yeah. I know, and then they got you in this trap.
In Lebanon is worth $400 million. He's the poorest. The rest are the billions. Okay? And if Australians are so fucking stupid, these people that have gone along with it, is you are going down the road of turning Australia into Lebanon, where you will never be able to remove a person from parliament, where his son will take his place, where he will constantly rob you, oppress you, abuse you, and then for 1 month every 4 years, give you a couple of bucks to get your vote back. And if you don't vote for him, you will be assassinated. You will be disappear. You will disappear. Wake up. This is all about control of the world. There's no COVID-19. This Delta variant is 4.33 times weaker than the original COVID, if you believe in it. You know what? All these people going to hospital now, they're all the vaccinated ones. But this fucking thing was supposed to save us. This thing was supposed to stop us from getting COVID. But the people going into hospital now are the vaccinated people. It's more dangerous for an unvaccinated person to be next to a vaccinated person. But do you hear the unvaccinated people saying that we don't want nothing to do with the vaccinated? No. All we hear is Gladys Berejiklian and tell them, I wouldn't want to be around anybody that's not unvaccinated. Really? How come your politicians aren't vaccinated? Because they're exempt.
Doesn't make sense. Does not make sense one bit. Yeah, like and see, and this is like Wesley just said in the comments, war is a national product. I think this is going to be another national product, like where they use it. Like Kerry Chan said, every 6 months we're going to get boosters and keep getting jabbed and keep stabbing us with things.
8 pages.
Say again.
The passport has 8 pages.
Yeah.
2 shots a page. That's 8 years.
Wow.
Here. Come.
That's the Greek jab, huh? No, I know. I don't know what's going on with these people, but it's not even the government. I think is the problem here, because we always know through history governments are always corrupt. I think the number one thing we got to understand.
Our government loves you.
Yeah, but I think understand is the people that are backing it is what's giving them power. And then not only that, like what I just said, how the whole world stopped for this COVID. Has no one put the two pieces together and said there's something sus about this, something not right behind it?
Yeah. Singapore, Japan,
A few African countries.
right? Yeah. America, 19 or 20 states out of 50 have just chucked this whole shit out. Right? England, no more vaccine passport. Would you like to come soon?
What about even America? They're back to NFL. They're still doing their sports. They're back into all that.
Let's take a knee, eh? James LeBron. Yeah,
But they don't fight. They don't like. That's another thing where people are losing their jobs and everything, but they want us to pay our home loans back still.
Oh yeah.
How come the banks haven't had a freeze on our loans and stuff like that?
Well, they put the freeze, but the interest isn't frozen. It just keeps growing.
Yeah, it just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah.
Why aren't we all in this together? Then you talk about money. We'd see Gladys and Scott Morrison. I think Brad Hazard got it too. They all got a pay rise during this time, and they reported it. It's like they spit it in your face on purpose.
You know, they're like footballers. They only have a short time in politics. They need to make as much money as possible because they don't know what's going to happen to them after they leave politics. They might go and work for a pharmaceutical company as a representative or on the board of directors where they earn millions for just rocking up, sitting in a chair. You know, who knows? Haram. So slack.
Yeah.
You know, they've got to make as much. They're like footballers. Their body can only take politics for about 10 years. So they've got to make as much money as possible.
Yeah. And now it's seeped into all the aspects of society. You know, we're talking about NRL and that. Even that's become like, you know, a bit corrupt as well, man. The rules are all over the place. Like it's seeped into our schools, churches, entertainment, and in our sports. Like it's just everywhere now. Everything's political.
Just tell the NRL, stop selling your bullshit product. You're fake ass motherfuckers. You're the sellouts. You're not blue collar. You don't represent the blue collar.
Not anymore.
Right? You are businessmen.
100%.
You are nothing. You are exactly the same as the NFL. Your players are 19, 18, 20-year-olds earning $600,000-$700,000 a year. This is not a blue collar worker, darling. A blue collar worker is earning $450 an apprenticeship digging hole for a plumber. Okay, so do not pretend that you are a blue collar sport. You're not. You got nothing to do. You sold us out. You earn $100 million from Optus. Okay, you've forced your players to get injected, so you've pushed the agenda there. Okay, you've got NRL trainers who you see them sitting there with no mask on, but if they run on the field, they've got the mask on. We got a product to sell.
Yeah.
Next, have fucking Gatorade put onto the mask.
Yeah, exactly. And then when they run out of the locker rooms, they have a mask in the locker room. How does that make sense? But they're tackling each other.
Fit.
Yeah, exactly. Elite
machines designed to go at 100 miles an hour. Why are you giving them the vaccine for? COVID wouldn't look, even if they got COVID, they shit it out the next day.
Exactly. Did you see?
These are fucking sellouts, all of you, from the NRL media to the NRL players to the people that work. You fucking sold us out. You sold us out. You sold the very people that make you your money. Why? Because Optus is going to give you $100 million. $100 million. you fucking fake ass motherfuckers.
I-
I haven't watched a football game since. I haven't watched a football game at all. I've given up. And I used to worship the NRL. I used to worship rugby league.
after or before St. George got kicked out?
Eh?
After or before St. George dropped out?
Actually, the very next day after the State of Origin.
Yeah.
After we lost the third State of Origin, I quickly realised, and seeing the shenanigans and seeing all this bullshit COVID shit, and then seeing Latrell Mitchell with 5 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the game, and we're 2 points down, to decide to kick from 45 metres out. He's lucky I wasn't the coach, because I would have ran down the back fuck and slapped him straight across the head. I actually rang Anthony Mundine and said to him, hey, Chock, he goes, what? I go, was that a TAB penalty, or was that a legitimate penalty? He goes, no comment.
Mm.
The corruption
it's scripted now. It's scripted.
I'm out. I'm sick and tired of seeing trainers with masks on. I'm sick and tired of seeing masseuse with his hand up his butthole massaging a footballer, but he's got a mask on.
Yeah.
Mask on.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck
The
off.
pandering.
And
Yeah.
in the bubble.
And just like we said, everything's bought out by government now, and so that's just another arm of the government. They use that as a, like, even with my team, I saw them promoting the vaccine. I'm like, what's going on? Like, how is it anyone's business? Why do you care so much? You know, they still making big money like they had crowds.
Yeah, who's your team?
The one and only, man. The one and
Souths.
only. Nah, fucking fuck Souths.
The Roosters.
Double. What's wrong with you?
Who?
Two back to back, mate. Back to back. That's who I go for. Roosters.
Man, you blokes will sell anything. The Roosters will sell their fucking ass to
That's
make
what I'm
money.
saying. They sold
They'll
them.
go down to the wall at
they
King's
sold us
Cross
out.
and line up there. The Roosters used to do shampoo commercials, for fuck's sake. First grade footballers doing shampoo commercials.
Media history. They're rich now, but they weren't always rich. They came from a bad past where we grew. Not like South Sydney sold their own people out and they got kicked out of the comp.
I don't really care. I reckon they're all a bunch of fakes. But I know why eastern suburbs are promoting the COVID. They got paid because so the Roosters needed a break for at least 1 week from selling their ass on the wall down at King's Cross.
Fuck out of here. Mate, whatever. Anyway, Roosters for life. What's your prediction of the grand final?
I don't give a shit. I predict all players will be, or I predict at least 3 to 4 trainers will run onto the field with masks on. I predict that maybe 30% of the fans there will be cardboard boxes with faces on them. I predict that the coaches will have the mask off, and just before the camera gets there, they'll put the mask on. That's what I predict, and I predict that COVID's going to win in the end. With rugby league, they'll have who's going to be performing at halftime. Is it a big round ball with shit sticking out of it? COVID, COVID. Yeah, who's going to be doing that?
Oh man,
I don't really care. I haven't watched the game. I'm really upset with St. George after what they did to
Vaughan.
Vaughan.
Yeah.
I'm very angry how we had Phil
They made a
Gould.
big deal.
I don't know who's going to take him. Oh, Ray Hadley.
Oh, Ray Hadley. Oh, he's a
Who's going to take him? Who's going to take him, you motherfucker?
Yeah.
He scores 1 try a game. Who's going to take him? Look, I'll take him.
Oh, out of all the idiots, but Hadley's dopey. He's a dopey guy, bro.
I better watch out what I say, because I'll sue you and I'll get Task Force Raptor on your ass.
Oh, whatever. His commentary is just, I don't know. He just doesn't suit NRL.
You know what? Ray Hadley used to be a taxi driver, and now he is a taxi. He's an old taxi. Somebody needs to upgrade the cunt. Seriously,
He needs to be an Uber.
3 million kilometers on him.
No, yeah, it's gone. I don't know. Like you said, man, throughout the whole society has gone down. Every aspect, churches, I mean, religion, schools, families, sports, and now they're trying to dictate how your kids should act at sports and through the sports players and all that sort of stuff. So, you know what, man? At the end of the day, just keep fighting, and I really appreciate that you are fighting, man. Um,
We'll never stop until we go back to who we once were, right? Till we go back to all the mums that bring their sons to play football and tell us he needs to wear headgear and you need to wrap him in cotton wool. You can fuck off and take their sons with them because rugby league is a hard contact sport. Okay, political correctness can go get fucked because I'm sick and tired of that bullshit and all this. This new age type of thinking where, you know, I can be a tree if I want, you know, and you can't discriminate against it. Because it's time to go back to the Bob Hawke kind of Australia where if your boss doesn't give you a day off, he's a prick.
I suppose, yeah, science doesn't work in their favor when it comes to your sex. If you're male, female, I think it's up for interpretation now. You know, you can be a tree, you can be a cat, you can be whatever you like. So,
mate, you can be whatever you like. I've got no problem with it. But if you got a cock and balls hanging between your legs, you're a bloke. If you've got a vagina or a slit, you're a woman. You can tell me I am a freaking unicorn. Good luck to you. You are what you are according to science, and you are either a male or female. You could, if you want me to call you Bambi, I'll call you Bambi, but I'm not calling you sir if you're a woman, and I'm not calling you ma'am if you're a man, because genetically, that's. I want to take Australia back to where common sense and everyday sort of, yeah, that makes sense. Sort of whatever it is that we need to go back to who we were, not this green leftist agenda where I'm a tree. Okay, great. Come here. I'll piss on you.
Even like what are you saying, like bringing back that common sense and all that. I think we need to learn like all that at school, man. I think even with your party, do you ever talk about doing some what do they call it with the school system, like revamping it, doing something different to it, like going back
to move this Chinese way of the yin shen fing bing, whatever it's called, the shen way.
Yeah, the educational
I'm personally going after universities. It's going to be the night of the long removal of the Greens. I'm seriously, the Greens infiltration of the universities has to be crushed.
100%. That's the thing. What are you guys looking at that? Do you have plans towards that with your party? Like what?
Yeah.
What is it?
Me is if I get the opportunity,
one
of my agendas will be to eliminate the Greens
on
all fronts.
But are you going to be? What are you going to be teaching in school? Do you have that in mind, like Aboriginal history, the real history of Australia, all of it?
Right, that's absolutely right. We're going to. The education will be just that. Will be not propaganda. It'll be education. You learn how to read, write, history, the true history of Australia, the
how it started and how it
started. We want to talk about what was done to the Aboriginal people. We want to teach our kids how to not make that mistake again. You know, we want to explain to them who this land belonged to, what happened and how Australia started, right? What mistakes the first British that came here made, right? All this stuff.
We need
not history about what happened in the Somme.
Yeah.
And do that for a month. No, how about a whole year dedicated to understanding the cultural diversity in the Aboriginal community, which, like Canterbury Boys High School, for example, they could teach about who owns the land that Canterbury Boys is built on. Who are the traditional owners of this land? What are their customs? Yeah, how else are we able to show respect and build a bond, you know, and heal, right?
Exactly. And we only do it for one day, and then even those people that
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. It's condescending, eh? That's how I would take it anyway. Like, And even the people even find that one day annoying, and it's like, no, man, we got to make this integrate into our, like, the first thing that you taught at school, pretty much, because once you don't know that, like, people feel like out of place. They don't feel like part of the society. Aboriginal community feel like
You
they're
know,
not
you
accepted.
know who's done more harm to the Aboriginal community than anybody else? You know who's
Their
the
leaders?
Greens. The Greens, the political party. They abuse the Aboriginal people. They promise them with so much stuff and do jack shit.
Yeah.
The Greens are the worst. They push the Black Lives Matter. What do Aboriginal people in Australia have to do with a black junkie being murdered in America? But the Greens find some fucked up agenda and they go with it. They have caused more harm, more damage to the Aboriginal community than any other political organisation.
Is that what you're going to have in your party, though? Are we going to have real Aboriginal leaders representing?
Yeah, I told
areas?
him, Mundine, I don't care. I said, mate, you do for your community. You should be somebody. You should be somebody part of this. Anthony's all for it. I want him to bring us the elders in there. I want us to really be a nation that accepts everyone, irrelevant of color, irrelevant of religion, right? And just let our kids ride their bike down the road without a helmet.
Right, there's a question here. It says, would you move Australia Day?
Yeah, I would. You want to know why?
Yeah. What's your wisdom behind it?
We're Australians. Some bloke back in the 1900s, whatever, decided that he was going to be on the 26th. Who ordained that? God. Let's sit as a nation and say, okay, guys, we've got a lot of people over here that hate the 26th. They don't like it, right? We've got a lot of people over here that agree with it. Guys, this is causing too much divide. This is causing too much hatred. This date in the people, in some people's mind, is a day of oppression, of murder, of betrayal. And there's people over here in their mind, it's the day that Australia was formed. It wasn't the day Australia was formed. It was a day that was picked.
Yeah,
so
right.
Let's come over here, and how about we pick a day that we're all happy with, but it will be Australia Day recognition of a multicultural indigenous society, not British colonialism, because we aren't that anymore. So yeah, I'll change the Australia Day. I've got no problem with it, as long as the day is picked that everybody wants. That's it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty smart. I think it's pretty fair as well, and I think Aboriginal people should have a say in that.
Yeah.
And also, like, I got a friend of mine. Shout out to Cherie Toker. She's trying to advocate to put the Aboriginal flag on our Harbour Bridge as well. And just like you said, why can't we represent all the countries on the?
Eddie,
Say again.
your voice is a little bit static.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's static.
Oh, hold on a second. Hello?
No,
No. Okay.
don't know why.
Can you hear me? Oh no.
So look,
Let's
Mate,
sign it up then. Let's sign it off then.
I reckon, in my opinion, to be honest, wherever an Australian flag is, the Aboriginal flag should be side by side. You know? And I'll push so far as to say, why not add the Aboriginal flag on the Australian flag?
Mm.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm
Why
just
not?
saying that's a good idea.
Why not have the Southern Cross with the Aboriginal sun in the Southern Cross, right? and we can down the bottom, we can have, or the flag can go back to being blood red, like the original flag was, with the Aboriginal sun surrounded by the Southern Cross. And to not upset, whatever, leave the Union Jack if we agree. Why not? Why can't? Why? What?
So your party's open for discussion for these subjects that people are talking about.
Absolutely. Why not?
We are a
new type of political party with new types of politicians. This party is about making Australia the Australia we want, not what the Americans want, not what the Canadians want, not what the British want. It's what Australians want, not what the Chinese want.
Yeah. Even with like what the country's investing in and stuff like that. Because there's another question here. She's that they'll be vote. Is it Nicoletta? I think it is. She said, "That's great, Romeo. I'll be voting for United Australia Party, but I'm worried about the destructiveness or the destruction of the mining on holy ground on Indigenous areas. Can something be done there?"
Okay, let's use common sense here. At the end of the day, Australia's got to make money, and we are a nation full of resources. So we must sit down and speak to the Indigenous people where, okay, there's this product here and we want it. What's it cost for us to get it? What do you want from us? Do you want us to build you a town? Do you want us to give you like a kickback? Like a special, what the problem is there is no dialogue. There is no communication. We can't stop industry from moving forward, but the Aboriginal community must be compensated honestly. True?
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
That's it.
Yeah. So basically, you're saying that your party's or the United Australian Party is open to anybody. Like they can email you guys, they can do whatever, message or whatever, but they're open to any suggestion that's just every normal day people. It doesn't have to be a person.
This party is by the people, for the people.
So where does a person like Nicoletta, I think it is, where does she go? How does she
got an email.
So she can email you guys and she gets it.
Email the party directly.
So where do we go? What's the website?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but if she's become a member, she would have a text message sent to her. And
she's going to become a member, she says. She wants to vote.
Okay, as soon as she does, she'll get it.
Okay. So if you can go Google, just type in United Australian Party and then maybe from there.
That's it. You go Google United Australia Party and it'll become a member.
Romeo, let's sign this. It's been an hour and a half. I don't want to keep you any longer.
No worries, bro.
Listen, I really appreciate it. And when this gets down, we're gonna hook up and we'll be doing something together.
Absolutely.
If anyone in the chats want to do one last question for him, say goodbye, say any like last words, and then we'll sign it out. You guys got like a minute. Your communication is great, and yes, about the compensation, that's great. I know it's so important. Thanks, Romeo. Great answer.
Not a problem. We just have to be fair. The best way to live life is to be fair. Treat everybody with respect and dignity, and if we do that, mate, the possibilities are endless.
Guys, take him for his word. Test him. Let him know. If you guys are serious about this, if you guys really want to do some change in the community and, change some laws that don't fit for this day and age, seriously, take him for his word. Test him. See if he's a man of his word. And you'll see if he doesn't come through, then you got every excuse to blame him. But if not, then back him up. We'll see what happens. Romeo, I really thank you for coming today. And also thank you guys for tuning in. And please send my wishes to the family.
I will, bro.
And I'll give my I'll give you a call after this and I'll sign off with you. I thank you again, man, and we'll hook up soon, all right?
Yep. Thank you, Eddie.
God bless you. See you, man. See you, brother.
Bye.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. This is my first interview I've done I think it was last time I done one was 2019, the end of 2019. So yeah, it's been a bit bumpy, a bit rusty, but thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And if you like what you see, and if you want more content like this, or you have someone out there that needs to be interviewed that you feel like people need to know about, hit me up in the either Instagram, which is good_smoke official, or good smoke official, and yeah, check me out there also on YouTube and Facebook. But again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for getting into the chat and asking questions. I really appreciate it. Wesley, thank you so much. Nicoletta, thank you so much. Who else is there? Emma, Mario, all you guys. Anthony, thank you. Peter, thank you. Just like, subscribe, and share the video. Get the word out there, and yeah, we'll go from there. Thank you so much. Signing out. You've been listening to Good Smoke.